Let's edit the images that we got of the dandelion clock from the last video. So in this video we're going to be editing the images that we took of the dandelion clock from the previous video, but before we get to that I just want to say a big thank you to everybody who has subscribed to the channel over the last few months. We've just crossed the 3,000 subscriber mark, which is absolutely fantastic. I just wanted to say a big thank you to everybody who subscribed, all 3,000 of you. It's absolutely fantastic. So for this video, let's get on and into Lightroom. And as with previous videos, what I want to do is just select all of my images, I should say, and then flag them as a pic. And then I'm going to come to filters and select flagged. Now all I've got to do is press the X key to unselect them and they will disappear from this view. They will not be deleted, they're still on the hard drive, it's just that Lightroom won't show them up. So this lot here need to go, that is when we were setting up our lights. And then we have our dandelion clocks themselves. So what I want to do, I'm just going to come into develop so we get a bigger preview of the image we're looking at. And on this macro session we took several different type of shots, so we're going to have several different pictures to edit and we just need to filter them out. So anything that's going to catch my eye I'm going to keep, and I'm a real big fan of the close-in shots of the dandelion clocks. You can see there, that one's overexposed, this one's a lot better, so we'll get rid of the overexposed one. That one is much better. In fact, it's better than that, so we'll get rid of that. Which one do we prefer? I can go with the first one. We've got more subject in the frame, but we can always extend the left hand side, so we'll keep that the first one. I don't like any of those. I really like the ones that are on the blue background. No, that one's better. That's a much better one, so we'll keep that one. That one's nice. That one's nice, I like that one. We'll definitely keep that one. Which one's better? This is always the hardest part, is selecting which image to use. Now with these two, I like the look of this one, but it's got 2 focus points. The next one's only got the 1 focus point, which to me works a lot better. So we'll get rid of that one. That one, it's too busy, there's too much happening, whereas with this one it's a lot simpler. So now we're on to the ones where we put the flower behind our dandelion clock. And we're just going to go through. Well, that one's okay, I like that. Let's get rid of those 3. But I like that one, very subtle. There's too much going on. There's a lot going on in the image and we want to try and keep things a little bit simple. Okay, this is where we pull the seeds out and we start photographing the centre, but I prefer the ones, the actual drops themselves. Now this one, this is when I went to 1.8 to try and get a dreamy look on it, so I'm going to keep that. Focus slightly out on that, which is a bit of a shame. Look at these ones. It's like a dreamy look. Keep an eye on those. Yeah, that one's the better one. Which one's better? Check the focusing. Yeah, focusing on the second one is a lot. On the first one, I should say, is a lot better. Another lot here. This is where we put the water drops in the centre of the actual dandelion clock. And I'll be honest, I'm not that keen on those, but it was worth experimenting and having a go to see what the result was. I'll get rid of those. And I do believe we already know which one of these we like, which is the last one, I believe it is. Let's have a look. They're all in focus nicely. But what I'm looking at is the background. Between the last two. Let's look at the critical focus. What we got. I prefer that one, so we're going to get rid of that one. Okay, so we're narrowing it down a little bit. Have a look. We know that we want to keep the last one. Definitely want to keep the last one. Let's get back to the library. We're going to mark that up as a 5-star. One of these, which I think that one is probably the better one. 2.8 always seems to work a lot better. If this would be beautiful if that was in focus, but unfortunately I completely missed the focusing point. You see you're getting a dreamy look to it. That's we're wide open, it's f1.8. But unfortunately I missed the focusing point just here. So unfortunately that one won't work. Okay, so we have to get rid of that one. Unfortunately, it looks beautiful, but because we missed the focusing point, we can't use it. Okay, so I'm going to narrow these down a little bit. Not keen on that one. I like the ones with a little bit of yellow in, so let's get rid of all the ones that haven't got yellow in. That leaves us with 3 images. The last one we're definitely going to process, so we have to choose between these two. And for me, I like this one. It's more simpler, a lot more simplistic. Check critical focus. Yeah, they're both good. Yeah, okay, we're going to go with the second where it's a lot more simplistic. So we've got 2 images that we need to process in this particular session. The first one I'm going to do is the yellow one. This is probably my favourite one. And what I'm going to do now is I haven't got a set routine to process this, so I'm just going to play with the sliders and see what comes out. The first thing I want to do, I'm going to bump up the clarity. You see how that improves the image in the middle here. If I just move that up and down, you can see. Never overdo your clarity though, okay? I'm not going to mess with the saturation of vibrant because I think the colours are good the way they are. We will, however, have a play with the highlights and the shadows. Okay. Have a look at the colour temperature. Okay. Have a look. I'm going to crunch the shadows. Just a tiny bit. And then I'm going to add in some blue into those shadows. Okay. So if you look at the before and after of that. Here we're adding blue into the shadows, which is a nice colour to contrast against the yellow. Detail sharpening. Let's pump that up to 50. Now holding down the Alt key, or I believe it's the Option key on the Mac, we can bring up the masking until the background is nice and clear. That way it only applies the sharpening onto the actual subject that's in focus and not the background. I'm not going to reduce the noise on this one. I am however going to turn on the lens correction, remove chromatic aberration and enable profile corrections. So you can see there it removes the distortion and also removes the little bit of vignette that's got going on there. Okay, because we're going to be adding a vignette afterwards most likely, so but if we keep the vignette in it's going to be a little bit too dark, so we're going to remove it. Let's play with the colours. Let's have a look here. I'm going to put the yellow, the green, primary green hue to +10, just to reduce those yellows a little bit. Reds can stay at 0. Blues. That's mad, look at that. That's mad, anyway. There we go. Okay, so that's as far as we're going to be doing in Lightroom. Let's take it over to Photoshop now and we'll do some more processing. That's Photo, Edit in, Adobe Photoshop. So I'm going to keep things very simple on this video. We're only going to do some basic retouching on this image because I think it's pretty good the way it is. Now, unlike the last video, I'm going to do my cropping first, okay? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to come to the cropping tool, make sure original ratio is selected just here. Make sure that delete crop pixels is unticked, and I'm going to crop this in such a way that the stalk comes out of the bottom corner. Now we're cutting the top off, so that's not what we want there. So what we're going to do is increase the size on the right hand side until we're just below. Let me just zoom in so you can see. So we're just inside where the image starts, okay? That's how we're going to crop it. Then we'll click OK. Now, before we do anything else, what I want to do is I want to clown out these bits here. Let me just bring the Wacom. And let's play the guessing game again, shall we? Will the Wacom work or not? Or is it going to be a little bit iffy? Let's find out. Okay, so it appears some numpty left his Wacom on and drained the battery. So let's get that plugged in quickly. Apparently it's good to go. So again, let's get a red brush and a green brush. And you know the routine, guys. I'm going to mark up on here now the things I like and the things I don't like. Okay, so in red, actually let's do what we like. Okay, so first of all, we like this. We love that the fact that the stalk is coming out of the bottom corner, which leads the eye up, and I like all that. Okay, what I don't like is this area here, this area just here, and obviously we have this area that we need to fix just here. Let's just zoom in a little bit, and I'm just looking for center dust. Okay, but before we do anything else, I'm going to come to my actions and I'm going to use smooth skins and the dust spotter, and indeed we have got some. So if we look here, center dust, sensor dust, sensor dust. We have sensor dust just here, and we've got some here and here. Okay, I'm going to turn off my dust spotter, and I'm going to zoom into these areas now and just see. Yeah, there we go. See him just here. Okay, let's remove the dust. I'm going to use the healing spot brush. I can never remember the name. And I'm going to switch back to my mouse for this because we're just going to be doing one-click retouching. So I'm going to get my brush to be just a little bit bigger than the actual sensor dust itself. We can see there's one here. And there's one there. Zoom out. There we can see another one just there. And there's one on the edge. We'll get rid of that one. And if I remember right, we had one up the top just here. It could be sent. I think it's sensor dust anyway, so we'll just get rid of that. Okay, that's the sensor dust we moved. So next above there, I'm going to grab myself a nice soft brush. Nice and soft. I'm going to deal with the corner first because the corner is going to be the easiest one to deal with. And I'm just going to pick a colour from near to it, bring my flow down to about 20%. My God, it worked. Okay, I don't know what's going on, but hey, there you go. Let's just get rid of that. Let's do a little bit there. And again, because we've moved, we need to select from an area close by. I'm just going to do that. And get rid of that one. There we go. Go. Okay, so we turn that on and off. We can see there what we have. All right, now then, let's go to, let me think what we want to do here. Okay, I'm going to go to the original layer, or base layer, like this area just here. Edit, content aware scale, and we can move that over. Let's have a look at that. Now, just to get a little bit more organic looking, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the brush, painting on the same layer. We'll just put a brush layer, we'll name this brush layer. So I'm painting on the same layer. I'm just going to grab different tones and brush in a little bit. Okay. Because we move the pixels over, sometimes you can get a like a horizontal stretchiness. So just by painting over with your brush, it helps to remove that kind of repetitive pattern. Makes it feel a little bit more organic and natural. Now, let's have a look here. For the first time in doing this YouTube channel, we haven't got to blur areas of this image that we don't like. In fact, it's pretty good the way it is. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to squash all this down into a new layer. What I'm going to do is I'm going to free transform this layer, edit, free transform. I'm just going to move it over, rotate it a little bit. Okay, and what we want to do is we want to try and just move it over a little bit. Okay, I'm going to add a layer mask, painting in a soft brush. Again, we're going to put the flow down to about 20%. I'm now going to just brush that out. Now just to check my edges, I'm going to fill this layer in. And I can see where the sharp edges are here, look. We have some up here. Okay, we can get rid of that layer now. So there's the before and after. So I've just stretched it a little bit. Okay. I can also bring it down just a tad so that we've got some space up here. Okay. Remove that, remove my dust spotting layer. But finally, what I want to do here is I want to put a texture over the top of this image. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to come to File and Open. And I'm going to go over to some textures that I've made. Where are we? Create textures. We will go with black and white. And I really like autumn. Okay. But we're also going to open up antique. Okay. And before we go any further, I just need to do some healing on here because I don't like this line here. I'm going to distract. Get rid of that one. Just heal that up. That went a bit bad there, didn't it? Okay. Come over to antique, and again, we've got a little line here that I don't like. These lines work great for images like my splatter artwork, not so much for what we're going to use it for here. So we'll just move it out. Right, using the move tool, we're going to hold the shift key, click and drag up to our tab, release. Give us a warning, say that the colours don't match. That's perfectly okay because we will adapt it. For the first one, I'm going to make this just a little bit bigger than our canvas. Click OK. And I'm going to change that to soft light. Soft light, thank you, not overlay. You can see how that's giving us a nice texture around the image. Now this is completely optional whether you want to do it. I mean, you can leave it like that. Okay, or you can have the texture on there. I'm going to do the same with this texture. This texture is a little less subtle. Go OK, and soft light. And now you just got to choose which one do you like. And this is completely down to your artistic flavour of what you like, okay? I actually like that the way it is. Now there's a couple of things I don't like. Okay, so again, I'm going to bring up my layer and my brush tool. Just to show you, I don't like that area, that there, okay? The rest of it looks good. I like the way it's actually going up to green at the top. It's not bad at all, but we need to get rid of these areas. Okay, one is on this layer. If I come to my spot healing brush, untick sample all layers, and I can sample that layer there, and then this one. Get rid of this part here as well. There we go. And that part there is bugging me as well. There we go. So there we go. So we're done. We've kind of given it a kind of a painterly look to it. Now again, it's down to personal opinion whether you like it. You might like that version there. Okay. I personally like this version here. It's a bit more artistic. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is, now that we've done that, I'm going to come to File, Save As, Images and a PSD. And we're going to save this as a Photoshop file. We'll just do drop. There we go. Save. Okay. But what I want to do is I want to show you one last step. Okay, and it's something that I haven't covered before because I didn't realise that some beginners might not realise this. When you output from Lightroom, it outputs in Pro Photo RGB, which is just here. Okay. Most websites can't display that. Okay. And we like to edit in Pro Photo 16-bit channels, so we've got the maximum amount of colours. But before we post this to a Facebook, for instance, before you post it to Facebook, you're going to need to change the colours. Now, the reason why we save in Pro Photo is because we want to preserve the amount of colours we've got if we need to come back and re-edit. Let me just show you this, okay? So we need to convert this to a colour profile, and we're going to convert it to sRGB, which most websites can handle, and click OK. And what happens, if you notice down here, is we lose all our layers. That's why we save a separate PSD file with the 16-bit colour depth and the Pro Photo colour profile. Okay, but now what we can do now is we can save this now. Save as, and in images, I have a separate one called JPEG. Okay, and I can put that in as drop. And what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to go to PSD, then JPEG. That way we're not confusing it with the out of camera ones, okay? We'll save that maximum file and we're good to post out. Now let's take a look at that other image. Now this other image, mostly blues. I want to emphasize the blues in this one. We did yellows in the last one, we're going to do blues in this one. So I'm not going to use my rack-on for a Lightroom. So what I want to do is, it's lovely the way it is. I just want to bring up the clarity a little bit. Let's bring up the vibrance a little bit. Okay. I think everything else is pretty good. We'll do the tone curve. We're going to do the same as we did last time. So we're going to crush the shadows. Not like that. We're going to crush the shadows. Introduce some blue into the shadows. Look at that. That looks nice. Okay. So we'll just turn that before and after. Okay. I'm going to boost the saturation. We'll come down to the detail and we're going to do the same again. So we'll do sharpening of 50. Masking is roughly around 50. And we'll do the lens correction again. Like I said, when we put the texture on, it emphasises the vignette, so we want to get rid of the vignette at the moment. We don't want the camera vignette in there. Let's bring those down a little bit. Oh, look at that. Look at that. That is beautiful. Look at that. Oh, look at that. That is beautiful. Do you agree with me? That is beautiful. Some people are probably going, oh, what are you doing? But I like that. I like that, okay? Right, let's take this into Photoshop. And I'm going to apply the same textures to this image. Okay. I don't think, well, actually, we are going to crop it. We've got some negative space just here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to crop it up a little bit. So that we have this bubble here on the rule of thirds. And down a little bit there to about, yeah, about there. Okay. So again, first thing we need to do is check for dust spots. Now let's use the dust checker for my actions. And we haven't got that many actually on here. So the dust spotter action is actually a levels adjustment with these settings here. So if you want to copy those settings, you can. Okay. And it just emphasises the dust on your sensor. And there's hardly any dust on this image, so most likely that dust got in when we changed the extension tubes. Okay. So let's take away the dust spotter. And I really like that image the way it is. Okay, it's really nice the way it is. What I want to do though is I want to bring the textures over to see what they look like. Now, we don't need to use these textures. We can get rid of those. Because we've already set the textures up on our previous image. Okay. All I've got to do is just undo our convert to profile. There we go. I can now select texture 1 and 2, which I haven't named again, but I digress. Holding the shift key down, click and drag, and then let go, and that gives us our texture onto our new image. which I think is a little too much. So this one here, the first texture, it does have a lot of vignetting. So we're going to drop that to 50%, and that's much better. There's the before and after. I think that image is perfectly good out of camera. I think it's perfectly brilliant the way we've edited it. I just love that image, okay? I hope you will agree with me. We got some great shots out of that last video that we did with the dandelion clock. We've got 2 great images. I'm now going to be uploading these to my social media, so please do follow me. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, and 500px. I'm also going to upload these to my Displate and Curios print store, so if you're interested in prints, you can go to those stores and buy prints. It really does help out the channel, okay? My name is Stuart Wood. I'd like to thank you for watching this video. Click that subscribe button if you did enjoy it. Smash the like button. Dislike it if you did dislike it, and tell me why. Let me know which version of these you like. Do you like picture number 1, picture number 2? Do you like it with the texture or without the texture? Let me know in the comments what you think, because all your feedback is great. I try to reply to every comment I get on YouTube. But for now, again, my name's Stuart Wood. I'll see you on the next video.